Hello everybody, this is Jeremiah Duke again. It's been a while since I put up my last video, so I decided to go ahead and put up a video of me installing a new hard drive in my iMac, the one behind me. Ended up having an issue with the hard drive and had some lost data, and eventually the hard drive decided to fail. So we're going to replace it today with this new Seagate Barracuda. It's a 3 terabyte drive. It is 64 megabyte cache, 7200 RPM, and I picked it over a Western Digital hard drive because the price for the size. I looked at the Western Digital Black series, and I also looked at the Green series, and decided that the Black was too expensive for what you got, and the Green was just, you know, it was 3 terabytes, but it wasn't the speed that I was looking for. It was a 32 megabyte cache, I think. Don't quote me. But I ended up making my decision to go with this drive here. So today we're going to be installing that. And there are a few things that you need to know about installing a new hard drive in your iMac. First off, it's difficult, but it's not the hardest thing to do with these. If you were adding a solid state drive in addition to your regular spinning drive in there, then it becomes a problem. I've done that already. It's a difficult task, but it ends up being worth it in the long run because you get the speed, and just everything is great after you put a solid state drive, and just ask anybody who's already done it. Basically, you remove the glass on the front of the iMac, and then you pull out the screen. There's some torque screws all the way around the inside of the screen, and then you want to pull the screen out, and you don't want to pull it all the way because there's a lot of connectors, and I think there's like 3 or 4 connectors, and I think there's one for power, one for the signal for the monitor. There might be a temperature sensor in there, I can't remember offhand, but once you remove those, then you'll be removing the screen, and then you'll be removing your old hard drive and replacing it, and that's pretty simple. So we'll go through step by step here, and I'll show you exactly how to do it. So now there are some tools that you're going to need for this process to replace the hard drive in your iMac. Specifically, I have here some suction cups. These are the miniature suction cups. You can pick these up at, I don't know, I got them from Sears. Probably found them at your local Menards or Home Depot or wherever. But you're going to need these to remove the glass from the screen. These ones are pretty decent. They have a mechanism where when you clamp it shut, it actually pulls on the suction cup, so you get a really good seal on there. You can use regular window suction cups that have little hooks on them. I wouldn't recommend it. It's kind of a pain, and it just gives you that opportunity to have some kind of problem with your removal of your glass, such as breaking it or whatever. I think it's like 50 to 70 bucks for the glass, so not something worth destroying. So go out and get these. They're only a few bucks. Well worth it. Also, you are going to need a T8 Torx driver. I've got a Craftsman one here. You also need a T10 Torx driver, which I have here. And make sure those are magnetized so you don't lose the screws down inside. I've done that before, so in addition to those, I also have this magnetic reach tool. So if I lose a screw down in there, that's optional, but have it handy just in case. Also, you're going to need a paper clip. You'll see exactly why this helps remove the screen. It's not too bad for removing the screen, but this will actually give you a little bit of a hook on there. And that's pretty much all the tools you need. Unless you really want, you can use a tweezer to remove some of the ribbon cables, but I decided not to. It wasn't that hard. You just got to be really careful with it. But so we'll go ahead and start taking apart the iMac. Alright, so the first thing you're going to want to do is go ahead and unplug everything from the back of your Mac, and kind of set it aside so you don't lose it behind your desk, because everybody knows how that goes. Now go ahead and pull your Mac out, and you're going to want to take the glass off, and the first step to doing that is to take your Mac and pull it forward, and you're going to want to tip it on its back. So I'll do that now. Mine's a little dusty. It's been a while since I cleaned it. So you want to tip it on its back so that it's laying just like so. Now before removing the glass, make sure you have somewhere to put the glass where it won't be disturbed or touched, or where there's no flowing air, away from dusty areas and whatnot. Go ahead and set up a table or something, put a cloth down. You can use a towel too. And then you're going to want to set your glass on top of that, and you're going to want to do it so that this side of the glass is facing down. That way you don't have any pressure on it and you won't have any scratches on the inside and whatnot. And you're going to cover that up. So, to remove the glass, you're going to want to put a suction cup up in this corner and also one up in this corner. And to do that, take your suction cup. Pop it open if you have this type of suction cup, and apply it to the front top of your monitor. They're up in the corner over here is fine, just not off the glass. Push down a little bit and lock it in place. Now, do the other side exactly the same as the left side. Now you have both suction cups in place, and to remove the glass, pull up slightly in an even manner. And your glass should slide right off. Be sure not to touch the inside of the glass, and pull it forward and lift it off. At this time we're going to go ahead and remove the screws that hold the screen in. They're on this side here. They're also on that side there. There are none on the top and bottom. We're going to go ahead and do that now. Being very careful not to lose the screws on the inside of the Mac. It becomes a problem to find them later. That's why using a magnetized screwdriver helps. So go ahead and remove all the screws. Being careful not to drop them. Now doing the same to the other side. Remove the screws on the right side. Setting your Mac upright will help you in removing the screen. Just be sure it doesn't tip forward too far. Pull on your paper clip while holding the screen and placing your finger behind the magnet. This way the screen won't fall back. Go ahead and do the same for the other side. And now your monitor should tilt forward. At this point, be very careful not to lose any screws or the paper clip inside. Now inside here there are some cables that are attached to the monitor. You're going to want to unplug those from their locations on the motherboard. Starting with the top one, which is just up on the side of the screen. You're going to want to pull it right off the motherboard here. Just pulls right off. It's a small little connector. The next one is going to be the power for the LCD, which is on the left side down here. And that is a clip-on one. So you want to be careful pulling that one off. Should just unclip and pull it right off. The next one is actually the monitor signal cable. Being extremely careful because the power supply is in this location. You want to remove that very carefully by pushing on the clips on each side. With that removed, your monitor is now free and you're able to lift it straight out. As your Mac lifts up because of the weight, just let it do that. Now there's one more sensor down at the bottom. That you want to unplug. It's a very tiny little sensor cable. Pull your monitor straight out. Make sure that there's nothing else connected inside of this side. After removing the monitor, your Mac should look like this. In this location here is your hard drive. I also have a solid state drive behind the power supply here. Your Mac may not have one of these. To remove your hard drive, go ahead and use your T10 Torx screwdriver to remove the screws at the top, and also remove your cables here and here. This is your power cable, this is your SATA cable. We'll go ahead and do that now. Be sure not to lose any screws down inside. I keep my magnet in hand here, that way I know if it does fall I have extra protection so I don't lose it. These screws are the exact same size as the screws for the outside of your case, so not a big deal to mix them up. Now, once these two screws are removed, go ahead and pull your hard drive caddy forward and pull up, and it should slide right out. Now go ahead and remove your power cable. Yours may look different, and also your SATA cable. There's also another connector here you need to remove. And now your hard drive is removed. Now, to set up your next hard drive, you're going to remove this caddy and also the pins on the bottom. Remember, this is the orientation of your drive, and you're going to want to keep the pins on the bottom and the caddy on the top. So go ahead and use your T8 Torx driver and remove the screws at the top and bottom. And being careful not to touch any of the chips on the board. Now that the screws are removed, go ahead and remove the pins from the bottom. Now, set both your drive, your new one and your old one, next to each other. This way you know exactly which side your pins and your caddy go on. Starting with your pins, apply these to the bottom, and these will go in the two outside holes on your drive. Now your caddy will go in with the flat sides to the top of the drive, which is really in this case the bottom. So go ahead, put your screws in and mount your caddy to your new drive. Go ahead and attach your cables, starting with your thermometer cable first, being very careful not to insert it incorrectly. There is a pin on one side that will allow you to line that up. Then connect your SATA cable, and then your power cable. Now, go ahead and align the pins at the bottom of your hard drive down here and here, so that it fits within the rubber grommets there. Now it should lay in there and line up somewhat with your screw holes for your hard drive at the top there. Make sure that this cable is out of the way and isn't going to be pinched. You're going to want to go ahead and reinstall these T10 Torx screws for the hard drive caddy, making sure not to lose them. I use a magnet to start them. These might be a little bit more difficult because the hard drive is kind of a floating hard drive, so I'll go ahead and get these started. Don't tighten them all the way so that you can move the hard drive around a little bit. Now that you have your new hard drive installed, go ahead and start replacing the monitor. Once you have that connected, slowly lean your monitor back into its home position here, pressing on the front. Should fit snugly. Go ahead and lean your monitor backwards. And now you'll be replacing the screws. I always use a magnet to do this process because I'd rather not lose the screws. You're going to want to start with the ones that are going to be the most difficult first, so if you make a mistake you can easily go back. So starting near the magnets is where I like to start. Continuing to install the screws here. We're going to go ahead and replace the glass. So starting at the bottom, be sure that you line the tabs up, and you're very careful about it. Line up the bottom edge of the Mac. Come up to the top and put your fingers between these two portions here and slowly bring it in. And make sure it lays flat. You may have to pull up on it to make sure that it lays flat, because the glass does flex. Let's go ahead and pull forward a few times. There's alignment pins in there that hold it straight. Make sure that you have a clean seam all the way around. And to remove the suction cups, go ahead and pull down and break the seal with your finger. Do the same for the other side. Pull down on the release and you're done. So that's it, and it's pretty simple. It's not really hard to replace your hard drive in your iMac. Some models will be different. I knew the newer model iMacs will have a requirement of the hard drive to have that temperature sensor connector on there. The older iMacs have a small temperature sensor that actually sticks onto the outside of the drive. So make sure you look into that and decide which hard drive is best for you. So that's pretty much it, and thank you for watching. As always, if you haven't visited my technology blog, go ahead and visit that. It is missionduke.com. You can find the link in the description. And also, if you're interested in these kind of videos, specifically like equipment autopsies or ripping apart equipment, electronics and whatnot, and you're kind of a geek like me, go ahead and visit thegeekgroup.org. They're a non-profit organization in Michigan, and they are basically dedicated to providing a place for people to come and hack electronics and do things and build stuff and learn. It's at your own pace. It's really cool. I am a member of the Geek Group, and there are tons of members worldwide. So be sure to go check them out at thegeekgroup.org, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.